Today I'd like to introduce my first big project from Better Rail. It is the Canadian Pacific Western Plow. So in this video we're going to go over the parts you get with the kit, and for the kit pricing you're going to have to send me a private message. I don't want to give up the pricing on the forums. So we'll start at the bottom. Can you focus on it? Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with the smokestacks. So the smokestacks, you get two different types. You get the H type and then the original stack.
Okay.
Right, so with these you got to trim them off very carefully because everything is relatively brittle. Trim off the sides, trim off the tops, give them a light sanding to get rid of the sprue material, and that'll fit. This thing we'll talk about is a cupola. This is an as-delivered cupola. It's 3 front windows, 1 sliding window, 1 permanent sash window, and 3 big windows in the back. Around the frames of the 3 front windows are pre-done holes. You might want to open them up with a number 79 drill bit. You also have 2 windshield wiper holes as well if you want to add brass windshield wipers. The windows, the holes around the windows are for the window guards they installed later on in life. Now if you're looking for a modified cupola, I will be offering those at a separate date. Along with the cupola, you have the cupola roof. To separate this, you want to snip off these rear, what would you call these? Supports. Clip off these back rear supports first, then carefully clip off the supports holding on the crown of the roof. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there are holes pre-installed for the corner grabs on the roof. You'll notice the print lines on the top. Well, you just want to either give it a good primer or give it a little bit of a sand on top. It's part of the printing process. There's going to be some print lines. So. And that fits directly on the top of the cupola. So next we've got the body. This is the rear body of the plow. Full rivets. Again, all the holes they're there and they're ready for use. You can open them up with the number 79 drill. The brake equipment, it actually has a hole on the back of the window. There is an extra hole you can put a piece of 10-thou wire through to hold on a chain for your brake rigging. All the holes for your brake rigging and your lift bar are in place and ready for use. Now this type of connection, the support, so what you do is you take your nippers and you nip off all these supports on the end, okay, and then you'll snap off this support, and this is a knife edge along the length of the body. You're just going to snap it back and it'll come off nice and clean. Sand it down. And after that you'll need a roof for the rear. So on the roof, in the rear, it comes in 2 pieces. That way I avoided a lot of the print lines that would happen if I tried to do this in 1 piece. So to separate this from the sprue, come from behind. Can you see the supports in the back, Liv? Hard to see.
There you go.
They're right here. Okay. Trim these off first with the nippers, and then you can trim it from the front. Again, you've got all the grab holes available to you. You've got the tie downs for the smokestack. The smokestacks we should looked at earlier actually fit in this hole beautifully. Separate them and you connect them with the nubs and holes. That'll make it 1 piece. You might want to open up these holes a little bit before you connect it. It is a tight fit, and that's by design. So that's the roof, and that fits right on top of the rear of the body. Underneath the the body of the plow, we have the underbody, obviously. So you got the rear bolster. This is where the rear coupler will reside, and you see some oblong holes. Now the design of this is the main piston for the wing, and you have 4 nubs and they correspond to these slots. So what you do is you mount your truck with a 256 screw, and depending on how long the truck is and how much swing you want, you can either mount this piston closer to the truck or farther from the truck. So you got a little bit of leeway there, and that'll fit just where it's supposed to. And also on the underbody is this return piston, which is right here. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. It has a clevis in the back for the chain. You know, nice bits here and there, and it's keyed so it only fits one way. You got 2 holes at the front of the rear floor, and these will come off. Again, you want when you're nipping these off, nip them as carefully as you can. That's all I can say about that, is you just have to be careful. This is printed resin. This is pretty brittle stuff, but it goes together really well. Okay. Now for the couplers, these are my scale couplers on the back, and they are sized for standard shank number 5. So you can use number 5, you can use the scale head number 5, but not the whisker. So you're not going to have any spring capability with the coupler, but it fits perfectly in here. And of course you would use a 256 screw to screw it down in place. And you get 3 of them because they're a little fragile. Next up are the wings. The wings come off at the bottom, so you nip them off at the bottom. And you'll notice you'll have 3 holes on the end of each wing. That's for magnets, and that's what I'm waiting on. So once the magnets come in, I'll ship these out. So you install a 2 mil by 1 mil magnet in each one of these holes, and they correspond to the holes in the back of the front of the plow. And that brings us to the front of the plow. So the first run I'm doing is as delivered. You're going to have, it's a short coupler box in the front and trapezoidal hinges on the side. Again, you add your magnets and that will act as your hinge between the wing and the plow. Works really well. In terms of assembly, you'll notice on the inside of the wing, the plow, you've got these 3 nubs. They correspond to the 3 holes in the body. And it's just a matter of inserting this after you break off these tabs, inserting it and pushing it in. On the bottom of the body, you've got these mounting holes, and they correspond to these nubs on the bottom, on the top side of the bottom of the body, and they just, so you'll put the body in first, and then you'll put the underbody on that way, and then it holds everything in place. So so this is the Western Plow kit. This is a long project of mine. It should go together relatively easily. You just have to keep in mind things are a little brittle, especially the ends of the roof, you know, on the corners. They're very brittle, they're very thin, they're very fine, but once they're painted, they look really good, really good. So if you're interested in a Western Plow, the first run will be limited to 12 units. I am waiting on magnets, and they will be shipped out within a week and a half. When the magnets come in, they go out the door. So if you are interested, please drop me a private message, and I'll tell you what the pricing is. Shipping is $15 across Canada. And this is in Canadian funds, and I accept e-transfer. So if you want a Western Plow, drop me a line.